and to assist anybody in that building. That was their focus. The medic folks, the Genesis folks, I mean, are literally in an unsafe building trying to assist. So I want again to thank the numerous partners I'll read that assisted. Some who are remaining on the scene as we speak currently. When something like this happens here, when tragedy strikes, our responders immediately do their work and do their job, and I can't thank them enough. Our community responds, the outpouring of support, the outpouring of offers of assistance at the state level, the county level, the community level, other cities. I can't say enough about that and the magnitude of our work with our partners. So just a quick list: Davenport Fire, Davenport Police, Davenport Public Works, Davenport Development and Neighborhood Services, Bettendorf Fire, Moline Fire, Rock Island Fire, Rock Island Arsenal Fire Department, Iowa Task Force 1, who are still there today, MABUS 43 and 39, multiple agencies involved with them, orthopedic specialists, Genesis hospitals and doctors, MedForce, Scott County Emergency Management, Scott County Emergency Communications, Scott County GIS, Scott County Health Department, Bettendorf Police, Scott County Sheriff, Iowa State Patrol, American Red Cross, Shive Hattery, Mid-American, Iowa American, Valley Construction, all coming with the sole purpose of how can I help, how can I assist, and how can I get the victims taken care of. If you don't hear anything else from me, take it that the sole focus of everybody on scene, how can I help, how can I get the victims, how can I take care of them, irrespective of their personal safety. So I'm going to turn it over to our fire chief, Chief Carlson, for his statements, and I'll come back up for questions. Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As the mayor stated, my name is Mike Carlston. I am the Davenport Fire Chief. Just give you an update from our last briefing that we had. Throughout the night, our rescue operations have continued. We were able to locate one victim, and we are able to extract them from the building. That was done with a lot of the teamwork and partners that the mayor actually talked about here a few minutes ago. Iowa Task Force 1, the Cedar Rapids Division, arrived overnight, and they began additional search and rescue operations assisted by K-9 units. They've been working throughout the night, and they are still on scene at this time. We've had multiple structural engineers that have been on site throughout the night to provide technical guidance for our rescue effort. We are currently finishing the rescue phase of our operation, and soon it will become a recovery operation. If anyone's concerned about a possible missing loved one or unknown person, please contact 911 with this information. At this time, the building is structurally unsound. It's posing a risk to responders, and we are actively working for the best course of action for the building. We have a continued concern for the stability of the building, and we continue to ask the public to avoid the area.
Chief, all right, so if you have a question, please raise your hand. I'll point to you, and then we'll go. Sir.
Mr. Mayor, a couple things. Number one, what are the things being considered right now that maybe created or caused this collapse? The person who was rescued, anything about their condition, and those canine dogs?
The person's at the hospital.
At the hospital?
The dogs are on scene.
Okay, can you tell us about the canine dogs? Explain to us, I know it's obvious, but explain to us what exactly they're looking for, and the clock is ticking, so how important?
Yes, these canine dogs are specialized, and they're specialized in multiple different functions. Some are cadaver dogs, some search out live rescue individuals that may be trapped. They've been working, I think we had a total of 6 dogs that have been on scene, and they've been doing different shifts working through the operations. This has all been a coordinated effort through the Task Force 1, the Cedar Rapids Division, and it's been their crews that have kind of managed that aspect of the recovery, or the rescue.
How important is it to make sure they're in there?
We've been doing everything we can to move as fast and as efficiently as we can throughout the process.
They have been in the building. They are in the building.
They are in the building. What things are being looked at this point early in the investigation in terms of what...
I think it's too early for us to come up with anything at this point. As soon as we finish our recovery phase and we figured out that we don't have any other victims, then we'll work with our building department and move on to the next step.
And you mentioned the missing briefly, or those who may be unaccounted for. Do we have any idea how many number?
We're still trying to gather that information. This is an active investigation. We're getting conflicting information, but we do not have any credible information at this time of anyone missing.
How many units in the building?
So, ma'am, okay, one at a time, please.
How many units in the building?
Units?
Yeah,
So
you say
step up to
floors.
the microphone, please. Thank you.
So multiple agencies have been in the building, Davenport Fire, Mavis, the search and rescue are the ones in there now.
So how many apartments in the building?
Oh, apartments.
Apartments.
So there's a total of 84 between residential and commercial.
84.
Can you talk about we know that there have been a lot of complaints from residents. I know you guys have touched on that before, but can you talk about the complaints that have been made about this building and its structural integrity, and also some of the permits that were in effect to fix parts of this building, and if that is having any, if that's weighing on this?
So first off, it's still a little early to see if that's the case. There has been, as far as a large rental unit, there's been normal rental complaints, but there has been some complaints to the structure. We issued notice and orders to have those repaired. The building owner hired their own engineering firm to direct them, and the repairs needed to be made. So once fire releases the scene, we'll begin an extensive investigation to find out what exactly caused it. But we'll be working with getting information from the engineer group that the building owner hired to direct the repairs.
Sir?
How many inspections have been done on that building over the past 2 years? I've been hearing about bricks falling off literally it's been several years.
Yep, so I don't have the number up right now, but we've done numerous inspections based on complaints or just normal inspection process for a rental policy here in Davenport.
Ellen, I've heard from one person yesterday that I think 14 apartments were condemned at one time in that place.
I'd have to get back to you on that.
Ma'am.
Did those inspections reveal anything about the structural integrity of the building?
To my knowledge now, there were 3 that questioned any structural stability. The ownership group hired their own engineers to direct that repair work and that progress.
Sir?
Yeah, no, I know you guys were talking about how you're planning on finishing up the rescue operation soon. Do you have any idea of timeline on that, or?
They're in there now, so we're anticipating most of the day. Ma'am, again.
Chief Carlson, you mentioned that there was no credible information that anyone was missing. Could you elaborate on that?
Early in the actual event, we were getting different information. We've been coordinating with the Red Cross. We're trying to make sure that we cross their information with the information we have from the property management so we can make sure that everyone's accounted for. And so there are still a few things. Not every tenant there had a cell phone or had a second means to contact them, so we're trying to make sure that everyone is still safe.
Sir, and then sir?
Anything on, I heard there might have been some workers down there working at the time of this collapse. Any information or credible information on that at all?
Not at this time.
I don't
Not
have-
aware of that.
Okay.
Sir, and then ma'am?
2 things. One, you mentioned that the person who was recovered is in the hospital. Can you tell us their condition?
No, sir.
At this time, we're not going to release any patient information. I don't have a state of their condition at this time.
I see.
No.
Second question is, you said you're returning from rescue to recovery, that your folks will be in there all day. And my question is that changeover happening now, or is that at the end? I mean, you just said they'll be there all day.
This is going to be a coordinated event. Right now, we have the task force on scene. They are finishing up their operations. As soon as they've concluded their operations, we'll come up with our plan. But I do see the rescue phase occurring here in the near future.
The recovery phase.
I'm sorry, the recovery phase. I've been up all night. Please excuse me.
Gotcha.
Okay, sir, ma'am?
Mayor, just wanted to get your, any information you have. I know that we said 84 units. We had a lot of those people in reunifications at St. Anthony's yesterday. What's the situation with those people? Obviously, you have a lot of people now that don't have a building to stay in.
So right now I have, there's 7 adults and 1 child at KSI, and the rest are in other places that they found. Right?
Still mostly with family members or
Yep.
friends
Or something,
like that?
yeah.
Okay.
They've had places. Ma'am?
And so I guess I'm just going to ask a clarifying question, because we're talking about we're in a rescue phase right now, and then we're going to go to recovery, but we also said that we don't have any credible information on missing people. So can you clarify, when you're talking about recovery, do you know that there are still people trapped?
I have no known individuals are trapped in that facility.
Sir, the man? Sir?
I was going to say, ask you, Mr. Mayor, you look at the situation, you look at the collapse, and of course, it's devastating to see. How lucky are we? Here we are at this point, no deaths to report as of now, and no one that you know of missing.
Yes, the credit to the immediate response, our folks getting in that building. I mean, a lot of people were escorted out, assisted by our wonderful first responders immediately. I won't say lucky, that I'll say that, I mean, anybody that gets hurt, and a couple have, but we're hoping and praying that that's how it's going to stand. But again, because of the response and because of the concern for life by our first responders to get in the building knowing that that building was unsafe to help folks, I can't stress how, because of that, they saved lives. They saved lives. So, ma'am.
Can you release any information on what the canine dogs recovered this morning?
The canine dogs have actually worked throughout the incident, throughout the night, and we do not have any confirmed hits with the canine dogs.
They've been all over that place, and they have not. So, sir.
If I could follow up one more time with the chief. I spoke to a gentleman who was rescued from the 5th floor. You guys had to use a ladder and a basket to get him out yesterday. Can you talk a little bit about the challenges that you guys faced when you guys and women faced when they walked in?
Yeah, the initial briefing we gave last night, 8 o'clock, at that time, I did have 7 individuals that had been rescued by Davenport firefighters and Davenport police officers. We had more than a dozen individuals that were ambulatory, and we were just able to escort them out of the building. I do not have the details of all the actual individual rescues that occurred last night, but I do know that they happened on multiple floors out of multiple locations in that building.
Ma'am.
Can you talk a little bit more about the gas leak and the water leak that's going on right now inside the building?
When we initially arrived on scene, we did have a large natural gas leak. We did have quite a bit of water. We worked with Iowa American and Mid-American Energy to control the utilities there for the building. That took probably about 2 hours, maybe a little bit more, before we could do that and get responders back in the building to actually start doing our search efforts again.
Okay, now was that part of the collapse, or did that happen after the collapse?
It was a result of the collapse.
Two more questions, ma'am and ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
I just wanted to clarify, the 7 individuals that were rescued yesterday were from other parts of the building, not the rebels?
Correct. As of 8 o'clock last night, we had reported 7 rescued. After that 8 o'clock briefing, we did have 1 more additional rescue after that point.
And then just to confirm, there are no confirmed deaths?
I have no confirmed deaths at all this time.
Ma'am.
Okay. Can you talk about, we're obviously concerned about the structural integrity of this building at this point. Is it going to have to come down?
We'll make that assessment here after fire's done with their investigation.
Okay. Thank you all for covering.
Just one last question. Have you guys talked to the owner of the building at all?
He was on site yesterday. Thank you all for covering this. Appreciate it. Again, all the thanks to our first responders, our fire, police, our state folks. They're the heroes of the day. They got people out of there as quick as they could, and they've saved lives. So, thank you for covering this.
Is there another planned update yet, or scheduled?
Not, Sarah. Right now, there's not a schedule, but thank you all.